Okay, how y'all doing out there, man? Hopefully everybody good. Tonight we got a special guest. Got a surprise for y'all, man. My brother, man, come from the same concrete jungles I come from. Straight up. The true testament, man, to positive reinforcement manifested in the flesh, man. And he served his country. He's a vet, man. Straight up, man. So without no further ado, I'm gonna bring him on.
What's up, man?
What's up, Brody? You all right? How you
Yeah,
doing,
I'm
man?
good, man. I'm going to say one thing, and that's I'm blessed by the best, brother.
That's right, man. That's right, man. That's right. Man, you look good out there, though, bro. It's good to see you out here in the
Yeah,
freeway, man. For real,
man.
man. My brother.
It's good to
What's
be
up,
out,
bro?
man. It's good to see my brother here sitting there, man, shining, brother. Get your shine on. You hear me?
Man, thank you, bro. You shining too, Brody. We gonna shine together. You already know it, man. Hey, why don't you go ahead and tell the people a little bit about you, man? Tell them where you from.
All right. Well, my name's J.R. Porter, man. I'm originally from Odessa, Texas. And see if anybody's from the West Texas area, throw up the dub. Man, you know, get that. We're not talking about Cali, baby. But I did live in California for some time. I'll get into that a little bit later, man. But all in all, man, I'm a Texas native, man. Spent my time living, I grew up in West Texas. After that, man, I just kind of moved on, went around other places, joined the Army when I was 17. Again, we'll talk a little more about that. But just so you know, man, we all just the truth being, man, I'm really from everywhere and I'm from nowhere. You hear me?
That's right. Understood, man. Understood, Brody. I totally understand, man. I totally understand. Man, I mean, so how long you do, man? How long you been out, Brody? How long you been
But I've
out?
been out, man. I got out December 12th, man, of last year. I've been out for a couple of months now. And man, I tell you what, the world has changed for the amount of time that we've been gone and from the amount of just wow, it's fast out here, bro. We thought it was fast and we thought we were living fast, but compared to the way it was when we left and compared to the way it is now, it's a whole
Right.
different it's a whole different lifestyle, man. It's a whole different culture out here, man.
You absolutely right, man. You absolutely right. You who you telling? I already. It's moving fast. I mean, the world is, man. It done changed. You hear me? We got
Hey, man.
cell phones and
Hey,
everything. And this is
go to the
crazy.
store and try to buy a soda water. It's going to cost you $2, bro. $2. You could spend 50 cents and buy a soda now. Now you better have a $5 bill for a 20-ounce bottle.
I'm telling you, you ain't lying about that, bro. I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
man. Where's the 25-cent sodas from TDC at?
man. You ain't lying about that. It was
Yeah,
about sodas, man. I'm telling you.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Hey, Brody. So tell him what led you to prison, man. How and how much time you did, man.
Man, I like, my life's an open book, man. I like to be honest. I like to put it out there, man. It goes back to during a time of my life, man, where I was heavily involved in drugs and just, just that kind of lifestyle, man. And the truth is, I had a family at one time. I still have two beautiful kids. And, man, I went through a pretty hard separation. I'd never been in trouble before that. And, man, I found myself drinking whiskey every single day of my life. And, man, I wrecked my car. And during the course of the arrest, being the knucklehead that I am, I took it beyond. I could have went to jail just for a simple PI, man, and it turned into an assault on a public servant, a DUI, and multiple other charges on top of that. And what started that was when I went to jail, and of course they gave me probation for that, but as anybody who's ever been on probation already knows, probation is set up so you'll fail, man. And what happened from that is, of course, when I got out on probation, I hit the streets running, man. I knew I was on my way to the penitentiary, and I just made a point and a choice to just live it as fast as I could, man. I started stealing cars, selling dope, doing all kinds, everything and anything that you can think of to make a dollar, man. And well, it inevitably led me to further felony convictions that's landed me into the penitentiary for the first time on a 5-year sentence, man. And I spent 3 years of that 5-year sentence. I spent 2 of that on Beto, Beto 1, man, in Palestine. If anybody's ever been locked up, I'm not talking about the Beto of today. I'm talking about the Beto of yesterday. And, you know, that's quite a journey, man, if anybody's ever been there. Now, I only spent a couple of years there, but let me put it like this. I made a name for myself on that unit. And not to try to toot my own horn and come off as I'm just some badass or something like that. But I always had a place to sit on the bench, if anybody knows what that means.
You badass, bro. You badass. Hey, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, for anybody, you know, a lot of, you know, it's a lot of people out there that don't know about prison life, man. And in prison, you know, it's hard, man. It is super hard. You can't be no sheep in prison, man. And that's straight up. But to just say that right there, you already know. And then plus just the unit. Everybody know about Beto 1. I mean, it's on.
When I left Beto, man, I left Beto from P-Wing, man, from the north side.
Damn. See what I'm saying? It's like,
I landed on Beto, man, started on the south side and left Beto from the north side, man. And, you know, back then, during that era, man, and I'm not talking about the 90s, I'm talking about the early 2000s, man, because it was still rocking and rolling back then. You know, and during that era, man, you know, you had this thing called respect that's very limited today.
right.
And the deal with that, man, is not to mention it's very gang affiliated, gang related, man. And you got to get in where you fit in, man. And during, you know, so because of that, you know, you better be willing to stand up for what you believe in, be willing to stand up for the guy who sits next to you, and be willing to hold it down for the seat that you sit in. You know, and I'm not again trying to say that on this tough guy prison mentality nonsense. What I am trying to say is the reality of the penitentiary, man.
That's reality. That's reality. That's reality, bro. you ain't spitting nothing but the facts. You know, I know, man. You ain't spitting nothing but the facts. and
I'm a white dude, man. So, you know, a white dude on Beto 1, you got to carry yourself a certain way, man. I don't mean that in any other sense, man, because I didn't walk into the lines of the penitentiary on a racist trip, man. By no means, I'm not a racist individual. And I get upset and I get offended when I get encountered with it. But in the penitentiary, there's segregation lines that are drawn, man. And you know, white dudes become white boys, you know, and black dudes become, well, I'm not gonna say that, but you know, and the point is you get, you know,
I get you.
But then you find the individuals who tend to mingle among everybody, man, tend to get along, understand the respect and understand the way to walk and move through the penitentiary, to navigate through the penitentiary, to not just survive, but to live in the penitentiary, man. To live in the penitentiary is a whole nother ball game, bro. That's when you might have a cellie who could be from some other set, or a cellie that could come from a different part of the country, a different culture, a different background, a different lifestyle. You know, man, you guys got to live in an 8x10 cell together and learn how to live with one another, learn how to function with one another, you know, and to do that, man, it takes this thing, like I mentioned earlier, and that's called respect, man. And whenever we put that respect out there, it's a matter of fact, I'm going to respect you for who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for. But I'm also going to expect that you respect me for who I am and what I believe in, what I stand for. And until we have a beef among us, man, we're just going to keep the peace, because the peace is much better when it's lived in the penitentiary that way. And I've been in the day rooms where, you know, you could hear a needle drop, you could hear a mouse piss on a cotton ball. But I've also been in the day rooms where everybody in there is busting spreads. You know, we got 5 gallons of drink out and everybody's drunk. You hear me? And, you know, and it's not and the good thing about it, times like that, it's not an issue of race, man. It's an issue of man and man, you know. It's men doing time together, men living together, men learning how to work and function through the system together, man. Because the system's designed to hold you down. The system's designed to keep you down. The system has no give in it, man. And the only peace and comfort that you're able to even gain is from the man who sits next to you. It may be a cellie you have from South Dallas, or a cellie from 4 Acres Homes in Houston. You might have a cellie from Indian Creek, San Antonio, man. You might have one from Oak Cliff in Dallas. You might have one from San Jacinto and Amarillo. You might have one from Compton, California. You might have some dude out of West Texas, man, or somebody from Chucotown, El Paso. And these are all the people that you're living with, man. These are all the people you're stuck with. So it's either one way or it's one way or no way, man. You either get along or you get burnt, man. You get beat up, you get bled, and things get hard. But it also comes to a place where, you know what, we move through it together, man. I've been in the fields. I've been out there with an Aggie swinging. I know what that feels like. And I've had every man, from race to gang relations, anything you can think of, standing right next to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't let the Aggie hit the fucking floor, man.
That's right, man. You ain't lying about that, man. I'm talking about it. Damn. Man, I want to go back to this right there. Matter of fact, I don't even think they doing that no more, right? Hitting with them, they I don't even think they full stepping no more,
Well,
are they?
Man, I don't think so. I think something came out with the federal law based on they're not allowed to do anything in the fields that can be done with modern farm equipment or some nonsense like that. But you already know the units like Cofield, places like that, they're still taking you out with an Aggie in your hand. You're still flat weeding. You know what I mean? You're still cherry picking. You're picking peas. Matter of fact, most times you're just picking rocks and hitting sand.
And you know what? You're absolutely right about that. I'm talking about hitting sand. You know what was most part when it done rained the day before or 2 days before and it get wet and that Aggie hit that mud and you know and the Aggie get heavy because the mud will be stuck to the end of the Aggie. Remember that?
Hey man, or when you're trying to cut grass with a dull Aggie, man, you ever been through that before? It ain't cutting nothing and you ain't got nothing but rabbit trails and you got some redneck field boss up your ass. Get off that bullshit and get your Aggie up. Get that goddamn, I don't want to see those fucking rabbit trails. You know, and the whole time you're sitting there, you're swinging the shit out of that Aggie, man. You got blisters on your hand and ain't nothing feeling right, looking right, or going right, man.
You absolutely right about that, man. Hey, Brody, you absolutely right. And that's crazy, man. Let me ask you something though. Now I know being on them units like them units that you've been on.
I spent 8 years on Cofield unit, man. I mentioned the little 3-year sentence, 5-year sentence I did, but we didn't mention the 10 years that I just pulled, man.
Yeah, tell them about that, Brody. Tell them about that and what let you know.
Man, you know, it's
decade,
more of a victim
Brody.
of
That's a decade.
the.
A lot of time.
You know, it's more being a victim of the system, man. You know, the system tends to want to put a trumped up charge on you and max you out the most they can. You know, I met guys in the penitentiary that had life sentences for possession under a gram, nonviolent offenders. You know, myself, you know, what happened with me is, you know, I left my house drunk one night. I was in my vehicle, I was in my truck, and I began to actually put a life together, man. And what happened is, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this at all, man, by no means. You know, I was in my truck, I was drunk, I had no business driving, and I rear-ended somebody, man. And I didn't do it like on no friendly stuff, man. What happened is that evening, man, I got a bad phone call. And being the person I am, because the way that our lifestyle tends to shape our minds, man, I had it on my mind to drive from Dallas, Texas down to Austin, Texas, and really put my hands on somebody, man. So I left in a rage state of mind. So I get behind the wheel and I'm driving down the road, man, and somebody's tailgating me. And as they got behind me, man, I look back and they're right on me, man. So I pretty much make them pull over. And when I get out of the car, me and the guy, the passenger of the car, we get into it on the side of the road. And I hear his wife say, "Hey, I'm going to call the cops." So they jump in the car and they take off. Well, I'm sitting in my truck. I'm kind of feeling that, man. I'm stewing on this right now, right? So I ran them down, man, a road rage incident. You know, and so when this happened, man, I hit these people, you know, and I left the scene, took off, and I seen a cop. Cop got behind me. I took him on a high-speed chase, wrecked my truck, and then, of course, I threatened the cop in the back seat of the car. They don't like that, and they take that very seriously. And so, man, if you don't think you can get in trouble for your words, understand something, man. I was just given a 10-year sentence for an invalid threat made under the influence of alcohol to a police officer, man. And you know, and what they charged me with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon because of the vehicle, and they charged me evading arrest for the motor vehicle. And due to my past, because I'd already had the assault on a public servant, they use that to what they call enhancement, man. And that's when they try to stick a lot of time on you, man. My first plea offer was 35 ag. And, you know, I'll be honest, man, I was blessed. I had family in my life, man. And so they came together and they took their money that was stained with tears, man, to put together a lawyer for me, man. And I was able to come out with 15 years in that. And so I got 10 years for the evading, 10 years for obstruction, and I got 15 ag for the vehicle incident. I don't say accident because it's an incident. It's something that occurred, something that I did. I don't take away from what I did, nor do I ever try to say, hey, you know, it wasn't this or it wasn't that. But all in all, the truth be told, man, I got 15 years for the bumper of a minivan, and I served 10 years of that. And you know, so when you get to prison or when you get to the county jail, you kind of pick up this resentment based on, man, you feel like a victim. You feel like somebody got down on you, and it's hard to own what you did. It's hard to own the course of your actions. But guess what, man? I probably put thousands of lives at risk that night, man. You know,
Yeah.
I don't take away from what I did. Matter of fact, I'm ashamed of what happened that night, man. If I could go back to that night and never allow that night to happen, I know I would. And most every man in the penitentiary would say the same thing. They would say if they could put the bullet back in the gun, or if they could say to put the knife up, or if they could say that they wouldn't have done this or that, man, they would take it all away. But the point is, we get faced with what we've done, and then we have to pay the penalty for that. And this is Texas, y'all. Texas, you've ever seen the sign, don't mess with Texas? Well, that doesn't mean littering, all right? And so what caused me to go to the penitentiary based on that? Well, I signed for a 15-year sentence, and I'll tell you how much they wanted to send me to prison. If you've ever been incarcerated or locked up before, you'd understand that most times just to get arraigned takes about a month or a week or two. And then to get indicted may take about 3 months to 6 months. And then to actually get a court date, you might be 9 months, 10 months to a year. Then to finally sign and get to jail, it might be a year and a half down the road that you spend in the county. Well, I fell out of a certain county, and man, I'll tell you what, man, I was arraigned in court, indicted, and on chain in 4 months, man. And I woke up and I woke up at the gurney unit and trying to just realize, man, hey, man, what happened, man? I'm still in shock of just being locked up, and now I'm starting to do a 15-year sentence in the penitentiary, man. Yeah, I was pretty bitter, man. I was pretty messed up, man, from that. And so I landed there, didn't spend much time there. They sent me to the Bradshaw unit, lasted 2 months, and G4'd off the Bradshaw unit after I got into it with a lieutenant on the unit. And from there, they G4'd me, it gave me, threatening an officer, man, but it wasn't a validated threat. And so and from there, I landed on the H.H. Cofield unit, man, a medium custody. And so when I get there, of course, this is the largest unit in the state of Texas. And it's a trip, bro. And the glass house, man, the house of pain, bro.
And before you get into that, let me tell the people something, man. Cofield. That's an old ass unit. One of the biggest units in TDCJ. Old school unit.
4,000 men.
Old rules. So it's bloodshed over there, like real straight up. So that's just being there. Like, tell me, like, when you got there, how was it for you? Like, how was you feeling? Like when you first pulled up, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was in your mind?
Well,
what was going on?
Hey, Compton, man, see, you've been to the joint, man. Matter of fact, what were you there, about 30 days, something like that?
What?
That's my boy. Hey, man, my partner did 30 flat, man. All right, all over the state of Texas, man. He's a hardened criminal right here, bro.
My brother,
hey, man, you know, hey, forgive me, man, because, you know, every now and then when we kind of went back in our days. So, you know, but yeah, man, when I got to Cofield unit, man, you know, of course, I pulled up on medium custody, but when you get there, they throw you in on G-Wing, man. Back then they did. This was 2014. And so I'm on G-Wing with nothing. I mean, they're burning, there's floods, the water. I got 3 inches of water in my cell. I had 1 green bar of soap and no clean clothes, man. And I hadn't eaten in probably about a day and a half, you know. And you know, and that's just from the chain, getting here, getting there. Oh man, they fed you Johnnies on the chain bus, so they fed you Johnnies there, and you're like, man, I ain't seen a Johnny in a day, man. You know, I'm hungry, bro. And so, you know, man, and you know, the reality is that. And then so once I got there and seen what it was, I'm like, all right, man, so I got to make a decision, man. I got to figure out how I'm going to live in this penitentiary, how I'm going to live on the Cofield unit, man. And I'm on medium custody. And medium custody is 1 step down from high security, man. You get 4 hours of day room time, or you get 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, if you're lucky. And you might get an hour of rec here and there, you know. And man, so when I get there, of course, it's eyes wide open, man. Everybody say, "Who's that dude? Who's the new guy, man?" But luckily, man, there was some guys there that I'd known from Beto, man. So when I pulled up, they were like, "Damn, sick boy, you still ain't got out of the penitentiary, man?" I said, "Nah, I'm back, bro, on a fresh one." And so it's like, "Hey, man, y'all look out for sick boy, man. This is good people." So that's the nature of the game, bro. That's the nature of a name. You know, you're able to pick up a name in the penitentiary, it's going to carry with you, man. I don't care where you go, how far in the state you go, how far you go to what unit you go to. Somebody there is going to know who you are because they've been on another unit with you, man. And it's going to go fast. It's going to fly. So if you got a reputation as being a stand-up dude, well, guess what? It's going to follow you. But if you got a reputation where you ain't no stand-up dude, well, the reality is it's going to follow you, man.
It's going to follow you.
And so when I pulled up there, like I said, man, I had done my time on Beto, man. And, you tend to fall in with your own. And by doing so, man, but guess what, man, during that time, because like I rock with everybody, man. I don't care what set you're from. I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Mexican, bro. You know what I mean? I break bread with whoever you are. If you're a stand-up dude, bro. Mm-hmm. And I broke bread with the best, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so as I was sitting there, once I got there, man, of course I'm already known. I already had a reputation from Beto, and so it was kind of like open arms. But at the same time, people want to see what you're about, bro. So man, you sit in the day room, man. Next thing you know, you got a homeboy who's got an issue. Well, you know what I mean? He's kind of got that nana, man. So what are they gonna do, man? They're gonna look at you, bro. Well, you're the new guy. So guess what? You get to get up and show what you're about, man. So things always tend to escalate, man. Tend to go that way. But I'm always the kind of guy who tried to keep the peace, man. And if it meant keep the peace, like, look, you just send me and your homeboy, we'll go catch the cell, man. We'll keep this up out of the day room. And that's usually what I preferred, man.
Right. And you're absolutely right, man. And I totally understand that right there, because that day room shit, that's yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's how you do it. And it's sad to say that it had to come to even that. Like, but that's
what I mean?
That's the stuff that had to take place. In order to keep it an isolated incident, then that's what had to happen. You go to the cell and y'all take care of business and all that kind of stuff.
Let me explain this cell situation, man. Yeah. Man, think about it like this, man. Put two dogs in a cage and make them fight, bro. Well, you're talking about an 8x10 cell with 2 bunks in it, a toilet, and a porcelain sink in the corner. There's no room, bro. So you're either gonna survive or you're gonna get drug up out of there, And you better be on your game, homeboy. I ain't toothless, because I did right. You hear me? Right, never take your eyes off. Never take your eyes off the prize, homie.
Penitentiary war wounds are like all BS to the side, though. Everybody know you, homie. Like real shit. You already know your reputation is solid all the way around. You know what I mean? And I know the authenticity. I already know what time it is, and I also know that you are a genuine dude, man. I mean, a true brother, like on some straight up stuff, man. And when I first met you, I know I was like, man, I'm saying when I used to hear you talking on the stage, I'm like, damn, talking about inspiring.
Hold up, man.
I'm saying, like, man, we talking about the pen, we talking about that, but man, it's a whole other side to this brother, man. And we gonna get into that, man. I mean, how did you tell him what got you through all of this, man? What helped you maintain your sanity?
Man, first and foremost, man, I want to give all the glory to my Lord Jesus Christ, bro. I want to give him the glory. I want to give him the honor, because, man, I'm going to say this and we'll get more into that. I'll say this much, man. It's like David said, man, if you make your bed in hell, the Lord says, I'm there as well, And man, I was in hell, bro. I made my bed in there. I chose to do what I did. And I landed in a place where I know God never left me alone. There were situations and times where I realized that, there's situations and times where I realized that, it is what it is, man. And there's also a time when I made a chance, man, I made a stance and I stood up and I said, man, I'm not about this no more, man. This ain't for me, bro.
That's
You
right.
know,
Feel you, man.
and you know, you kind of start to grow up, man. When you start seeing the penitentiary and you start seeing the lifestyle for what it is, and you start seeing the men that are really hurting, man. You see the men that are lost, man. You start seeing yourself in them. That's the reality of that. When you start seeing yourself through the movements and actions and attitudes of others, and you start seeing that same self through the movements, actions, and attitudes of others that you don't like, bro, that you don't agree with, and you start looking yourself in the mirror, man. And I found the perfect mirror, and that's called the Holy Bible, bro. You start reading that thing, it's going to expose your heart, bro. It's going to expose who you are. It's going to expose everything about you. And then you're going to start seeing how ugly you are. And you're going to start seeing how broken you are. And then finally, I came to the realization, man, when I looked up, man, and I'm literally a Cofield unit, man. I realized I was on the anvil of God. And this is a place where, because when I was still in the county jail waiting to catch chain, I remember laying on the bunk, laying on the floor, literally saying, man, God, what do I do now? How am I going to get through this? And I remember hearing, he says, don't worry, I got you. And I remember praying, Lord, well, you know what? Obviously, I wasn't living in the world, so you're going to have to allow me to live in the penitentiary. You're going to have to teach me how to live in prison. So once I got to that place, man, I struggled, man. I walked through the valley, bro. That is the valley of the shadow of death, man. That's the dark places. That's the dark rooms.
That's right.
You know, spending time in a cell by yourself with nothing but a green bar of soap and drinking water out of your hands. That's a hard time. That's a hard life. And it's by choices that we make, man. And I started seeing the reality of, you know what if I start making different choices? What if I start doing things differently? And as I started to make different choices and do things differently, I started finding myself with better jobs, better housing, better living situations, better food, you know, because there's a way to eat good in the joint, man.
You're absolutely right about that.
You know, before I left Cofield, man, I was eating in the ODR every night, man. You know what I mean? With a job, I was living in the dorms around good men, around good friends, you know. And man, I'm gonna tell you what the turning point in my life was, man. And it came from prison, bro. And it was this, man, is when I realized the investments of other people. I left Cofield and landed on Polunsky unit. I wasn't there before a short period of time. I went there on a mentor program for veterans. And so when I got there, I seen there was a guy there, man. He was all spun out on drugs, man. And the other guys there, see, when I say men have power in the joint, I mean it like, if you want a job, they're going to speak to their boss. They're going to vouch for you. If you want good housing, they're going to go to the warden and get you moved. And so I landed in a dorm, man, with a bunch of men who had power, man. And so there was a guy that they had all spoke for. They had vouched for. They had got this guy a good job, got him a job in maintenance, got him a good house, had him in the perfect dorm, living in the dorm with everybody in the craft shop. I mean, living good, living comfortable, but he got spun out on that stuff, man. And so from the course of that, I started hearing what they're saying about this dude. You know, they're saying, oh, man, it's a whole ass dude, man. I can't believe this, man. I ain't never speaking for nobody no more. I ain't never put my neck out there for nobody no more. And these are men who had power. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing those same men speak for me, man. They got me in the house I needed, man. I was able to tattoo my whole time there. They got me into the bunk I needed, you know. And then they got me a job in maintenance where I was able to learn a bunch of stuff, man. And I realized, man, it was these men had invested in me. You know, they spoke for me, man. They put their name on me, man. They put their stamp on me. And so when I realized that these men had spoke for me, I started seeing the investment of others, man. And I seen how this other man had returned void to their investment. And I made a promise and a choice that, you know what? I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to continue always to show men the dignity they deserve and the respect they deserve, especially when they get out there for you, man. And you know what it means when somebody gets out there for you.
Absolutely,
you know?
right. You absolutely, yes, I know what it means, Brody. Like, for real. And that's the way you are, though, man. You know, everybody know you know, respect manifest in the flesh. Both we on the same thing, man. I'm talking about it's all about respect, man. And I know that everybody that you come across, you tend to touch them. Like for real, you always got a good word. You know, and you hold up to your end of the bargain all the time. You go above and beyond, man. That's what make you like
Man,
so.
I got a heart for people, man. You
That's
know,
right. That's right.
I'm able to look in men's eyes, even when they got the tough guy look, bro, and I can see the
Yeah,
pain that's there, bro. You know, and I started really recognizing it most, man. If if you've done time, man, and you got a mother that comes to see you, man, and you see the pain that you caused in her eyes, when you're able to see the tears being held back, when you're able to see the forced smiles because they want you to feel good and feel comfortable in their presence, when you're able to see the pain that you caused, when you're able to see them doing everything in their power to hold their hands steady and keep from shaking because they're so shook up after everything that they had to go through just to get in there to see you, to buy you a fucking soda, to put a cupcake on the table so you could eat something, man. And I realized the level of pain that I caused, the stuff that I did to my people, man, the choices I made that were putting my mother through the stuff she was willing to go through because she loves her son, man. And I said, I'm never going to do that again. And if I have the ability and the power to be able to help another man so he never has to do that again, he never has to watch his children grow up on black and white JPEG photos, because we don't get pictures no more in the prison. He doesn't have
that's
to
right.
talk to his family over a phone for 6 cents a minute. He doesn't have to wait 2 months for a letter that's caught in the mail. If I can help a man not ever have to go through those things again or put his family through those things again, I'm there, man. You can find me on Facebook, man. Capital J period, capital R period, Porter, J.R. Porter. It's simple.
That's right, man. Find my brother on Facebook, man. At the end of this, we're gonna put everything up, man. Your cash app and everything, so people can help you out and shit. You, Brody, you already know I'm all the way with it, man. For real, I'm a
You know,
support
man,
because I know,
man,
like I said, you authentic. You ain't just talking. Everything this brother's saying right now is a fact, and he really about that. This not no bullshit. This ain't just for no interview shit. This is him. Like this is a
that's,
good brother,
hey,
man.
man, me and my
Straight up.
boy Compton used to talk, man. I'd see him in the chow hall. We went through a parole program together, man. We actually made parole at the same time. So nothing happens by mistake. It's only by the grace of God that we sit here and talk at this time. You
That's
know,
right.
God put us together to be here for you. You know,
Right.
man, and me and this dude would see each other, man, and we would make it a point to skip over the table so we could sit down and rap for a minute, man. You
That's
know,
right. That's
there's
right.
a thing about there's a thing about hearts in prison, man. We put so many walls and barriers up to keep people out, man.
That's right.
Earlier, Compton had said, man, he said you can't be a sheep in the joint. Well, the truth is, man, you know how many men in the penitentiary got a heart of gold, but got a mind that's just been poisoned by the devil, been poisoned by this world, been poisoned by society,
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
know, or they got a heart of gold that's been stepped on and crushed so much, man. Because you got men in prison that'll seek you out, man. They'll seek to just, and they'll play on that. They'll prey on that, man. Their
Absolutely
whole
right.
goal is to see what they
Absolutely
can get
right.
out of you. So it causes you to put up such a high wall that, man, you ain't letting nobody in, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There's a common word there's a common phrase in the joint, man. That's trust no man. You
That's right.
know, and trust is something that's required to have any kind of relationship with anybody, man. Homeboys, whoever, man. And then you find out you get your own homeboys doing you wrong. You got your own people doing you wrong. And then you look up and, man, you got people feeding you that you never expected to put food in your bowl, man. You know, you got people saying, man, hey, bro, I love you, man. Why don't you come down here to the church house? Or, hey, bro, why don't you come out here on the yard? We're just going to play some handball and kick it, man. You know, I
Yeah.
got so many friends down there in the joint, bro, that, man, I wish I could just pick up the phone and call them all the time. But I know they're down there still facing these same demons that we faced, man.
That's right, bro. That's right. And just yeah, that's acknowledging that, man. That's the fact, man. There's a lot of good brothers down there, man. Straight up. But you absolutely right about what you said a second ago, man, about kindness is taken as a weakness in prison. This is taken as a weakness in prison. Like now, not all the time you can run into some people, but for the most part, when you involved in things, or you around, you in certain situations, like you talking about G4, close custody, and and being all in these spots and shit, you can't be being friendly. Somebody gonna try to take advantage of you.
Yeah, man. You know, that was a common way to pick out, well, to pick out somebody who wasn't about that life, man. You know what? Just walk in front of them, see if they move and say, excuse me.
That's right. Yeah, hey,
He's
you
saying,
ain't
excuse
lying.
me
You
for you being in
absolutely
his
right.
way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
playing
And
the
what
rain.
in their head, immediately in their head, oh, got me one. I got me one. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the harsh reality right there of prison life. The harsh reality. And that will condition you when you've done a certain amount of time. You will be conditioned to where, like he said, you put up these walls, you ain't letting nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you know, I'll be honest, you know, I've only been out for 2 months and I still have troubles, you know, I still have tons of trouble, man, just trying to, you know, adjust to people, adjust to being where I'm at, man, and adjust to lifestyles, man. But look, man, look above me, man. You see the sky, bro? I'm
That's right.
outside freely, man.
That's
You
right.
know, I want to say something to whoever's listening to this, whoever's watching this, man. You know, if you ever done time, man, know this much, man, that freedom is good, bro. Freedom is real. And I ain't talking about freedom just for being from behind bars. I'm talking about being free on the inside, man. When you're able to get away from substances, when you're able to get away from toxic relationships, when you're able to get away from situations and people that ain't doing you no good, man. When you're able to tell people and mean it, man, no. Or when you're able to tell people and mean it, yes. You know, and that's that simple yes and simple no, man. Let your no be no and let your yes be yes.
That's
You
right.
know, who has the ability, man? Most men don't even know how to say no. All they know how to say is maybe, or it might be, or it could be, or they don't even know how to legitimately say a yes that has true promise behind it. You know, to be able to say yes to someone with true promise behind it means that you're going to back that yes up, that you're going to back that no up, that you're going to stand on that. It's just as good as back in the old days. I was raised during a time when a handshake could buy you a car, you know, where a handshake could get you a job. Men today don't even know how to shake hands properly, man.
Right? Absolutely right. Times is changing. I'm talking about, and you know, one of the biggest, like when you were saying, one of the biggest things, um, times have changed, you know, of course, and they say it's not the strongest who survive, but those that's most receptive to change, right? And able to adapt and adjust. I think we're adapting pretty good right now. We out here in the free world, you know, we on the, you know, like we know God got us. So it's all good.
Yeah, man.
Ain't no worry, ain't no stress. We out them walls, we out the jungle, you know, we back in society, you know, and I believe that we gonna I believe we gonna make it, man. God had a plan for us, and this is part of that plan right now, Brody.
You know the good
I'm
news
glad
with
to
that,
have you.
bro?
That's why I'm glad to have you at 30 TV because
Man, the good news is this, bro, that there's no
they
man who's
listening.
perfect,
They
bro.
listening to you right now, Brody. They listening to you right now, man. Give it to them. Make them feel it for real.
No, the good news is this, bro, that there's no man perfect, but there is a perfect one who we have the ability to walk through and walk within. There's a perfect one who has the ability to walk with us and guide us through all steps in life. There's
Right.
a perfect one who calls you by name, who knows your heart, knows your mistakes, knows everything you've ever done, knows every thought you've ever made, knows everything from the time you were born, from the time you were conceived, from the time where you sit at this moment, man. Knows you better than anybody, man. Knows you better than yourself. He knows the hurts that are inside. He knows the reality of your pain. He knows the reality of your struggles. He knows the reality of your temptations,
That's right.
the reality of the things that you want because you're stuck trying to gain things in the way and according to this world. But I know this person, man. I know this person personally. And man, I tell you what, man, he sits with me. We talk every day. I stay in contact with him. And guess what, man? I know so many other people that know this guy. And this dude is so real. Not so real, he is real. But man, This guy has the ability to set you free, man. Wherever you sit, whatever you got going on, whatever you've been through, the pain don't go away, man. The struggles don't go away, man. I'm not gonna sit here and say all of a sudden, man, when you call on this dude, that everything gets better. By no means would I ever say that. Because as a matter of fact, things might get worse. Things might get to a point where you flat out hate everything around you. That's when it gets good. That's when it gets real. Because when you start looking at everything around you and realize all the stuff that you hate, you'll start wanting some change. You'll start wanting to do things differently. You'll start wanting to find a better way. You'll start wanting to look a better way. You'll start feeling a better way. And every step in the right direction gives us ease to the pain that sits inside our hearts. Gives us ease to the pain that sits inside our family's hearts. Gives us ease and ability to function through the struggles that we face daily. Gives us the ability to walk and talk freely. Gives us the ability to communicate to those who never communicated with before. Gives us the ability to talk in areas where we couldn't talk. Gives us the ability to be able to talk to men, women that would have never talked to us before. They would have never given us the time of day before. They would have never given us the opportunity to share who we are, our experience, our strength, our hope. They would have never given us the ability to express the level of humanity that we've been. But it also opens up so many doors and opportunities for us to present ourselves with him standing right in front of us. It gives us the ability to present ourselves with him being the one making the presentation. It gives us the ability to stand on our own 2 feet when we've never been able to stand before, when all we stand on was an idea or a thought or hope. Well, the hope exists. The hope's real. The hope for a better life exists. The hope for a better future exists. The hope to ease the pain exists. It's all there, man. It's all real.
That's
I
right.
speak from true testimony. I speak from true life. I speak from true pain, true struggle.
That's right. That's right. Hey,
All
brother.
you got to do is just call his name, man. His name is Jesus, man.
That's right.
His name is Jesus.
That's right. And what you brother, with everybody out there, with you brothers and sisters, everybody out there, man, are listening to right now is true positive reinforcement manifested in the flesh, man. You looking at somebody that done been there, done that, and look where he's at right now. Look at that mentality. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's why I'm so glad to have you on here again, man. Because you're gonna get you saying some shit that's hitting me right now, and I love that, man. Like seriously, like this is what I needed. I'm glad to have you here saying what you
Man, I
saying.
love
Everybody
being here,
out
man.
there listening, and they feeling it. I'm guaranteeing you that they feeling it right now, homie. For real. I
Man,
appreciate
it's
that.
easy, bro. It's easy to make that one step, man. It's easy to make that one choice. And I go back to the very beginning of what we talked about, the very beginning, man, because everything has a point.
That's right.
Everything comes back full circle, man. And so now we're back at the point where it all began. It all began with a choice, man. It all began with a moment when you made a bad choice, a dark decision. It all began with a moment when you decided to do something, when you decided to pull the trigger, when you decided to insert the knife, when you put the needle in your arm, or when you got behind the wheel of that pickup truck. It all began with a decision that you wish you could go back, that you could take back, that you would have never made. But it takes us to a point where it's time to make a decision in your life that'll be the best decision you could ever make. It'll be the decision where something will come inside of you to a point where you'll be able to think clearly, talk clearly, walk clearly, move clearly, and engage yourself clearly in a society that is so unclear, in a world that is absolutely negative in all its actions, and in a world where every step seems to be the wrong step, or every move seems to be the wrong move. But it'll become to a place where you get to a place where you're able to navigate through all of that. Jesus said in the word, man, he said, behold, I send ye forth into the midst of wolves. We've been there, Compton, in the midst of wolves.
That's
And he
right.
says, I send ye forth into the midst of wolves to be as harmless as the dove, but to be as wise and cunning as the serpent. And I like to spread that. I like to share that, what he talks about there. And quite often when men hear the word serpent, they immediately think about the devil. And he's not talking about that. He's speaking figuratively of a snake, man, of a serpent. And if you've ever watched National Geographic, man, these things live in trees. They live in holes. They don't dig. They go around rocks. They live under rocks. They go through desert sands that nothing else can survive in. Hell, down in South America, these things fly. You hear me? That's navigation, man. That's being able to go through any circumstance, any climate, any type of terrain. God gives us the ability to be able to function, move, live, talk, walk in every avenue of our lives, to be able to make decisions clearly in a terrain that is unclear. It gives us to be able to walk, move, and direct ourselves, and to be able to help direct other men to make right choices, to make decisions, to be able to walk, move, and think clearly. It's time to get sober. It's time to be clear-minded, because the time is now, man. We're at war, man. I'm a soldier for Christ. My brother Compton's a soldier for Christ.
That's right.
I was a soldier for the United States Army, man. And you know what? I wasn't just that great of a soldier, sir. But I know what I am today, and I'm a great soldier in the body of Christ. Why? Because guess what? I may fall short, but I never fail. You hear me? Because I have an infallible God. I have a God who never fails. I have a God who never quits. I have a God who'll never let you down. I'll have a God who'll stand in the gap when you can't fight. He'll fight for you. I have a God who'll step in that 8x10 cell and fight your war for you. I have a God who'll stand back there and walk through the grass when you can't make a step in it. And he's going to blaze a trail that you can walk through. He's going to set the path that you can make your way through. He'll take you by the hand one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. It's going to hurt. It ain't going to feel good. But at the end of the day, you can lay your head in peace. At the end of the day, you can hug your mama. At the end of the day, you can tell your kids I love them. At the end of the day, you can shake your friend's hand and look him in the eyes and know that you guys are man to man. I love you, brother. I love you, brother.
That's right. That's right, brother. You ain't lying, man. That's right, man. I'm hearing it, and it's got me like, damn, I needed to hear that, man. I'm so glad we linked back up, man. For real, for real.
I don't know if you knew what I don't know
You
if you knew what to expect, huh?
huh?
I don't know if you knew what exactly to expect.
I know what to expect. You know, I know what to expect. The people ain't
Yeah.
know what to expect, but now they see, right?
Death
Substance.
is not an option, sir. Death is
Substance.
not an option.
It's not an option.
Death is not an option, man. The option is life. And Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, sir.
That's right. The only way. You absolutely
The
right.
life.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you might get, you hear a sermon or you hear people. Man, I live on Skid Row, bud. I'm right down here in downtown Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
And man, I tell you what, man. You hear sermons about money. You hear sermons about feel good. You hear sermons about people telling you it's gonna be all right. Want to pat you on the shoulder, tickle your ear a little bit. Well, guess what, man? I'm gonna give you the truth, man. I'm gonna give you the truth. Simon never lost the name the Zealot, man. He was always a warrior. Man, from all the places that you've been, the neighborhoods you've been, man, you could come from the toughest yards in TDC, from the roughest neighborhoods in Texas and California, man. And I've lived on the streets of California. I lived in Stockton, California, man, one of the highest murder rates in the state of California. And I lived on Airport Way, man. I've been from the East Coast to the West Coast, man. I've lived in Acres Homes, Houston. I've lived in Oak Cliff, Dallas. I've hung around in Pleasant Grove. I've been in West Texas, Southside Odessa, Texas. I'm living in downtown Fort Worth right now, man. I've lived in Amarillo, San Jacinto neighborhood. I've been in San Antonio, man. I lived in San Antonio off Indian Creek. Man, you can't tell me about it, man. I've been there. I've seen it, man. When Solomon said, man, there's nothing new under the sun, he wasn't lying, man. Because it's the same story in South Texas, and it's the same story in Los Angeles, California. The same struggles, the same pains, the same hurts, the same sorrows, the same broken hearts, the same men behind bars for making a poor choice and a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Absolutely right.
same way out of that is the same worldwide, man. I'm not promising that things are just going to get better because that'd be a lie. But I can promise you this. I can promise you some peace that you don't have.
That's right,
You can
man.
stop fighting that war in your heart, man, and let him fight for you.
That's right. See that? Hey, you know, and again, they want to hear from somebody that actually been there and done that.
You know, man, this is a true story,
I
bro.
know you've
One
been there
time,
and done
this is a true story, man. One time I was in, I just got out of the county jail, and man, I ended up in the county jail. I'd kind of been out all night, and I really wasn't supposed to get out of jail, man. They didn't make a mistake, but I beat a warrant, and I was able to get out, man. I lasted about a week. When I got out, though, I didn't have any money. I was wearing some old beat up work clothes. I was just in a bad place, man. And I stole a truck. You know, I went by a friend of mine's house, man. I got caught for that truck, went to jail for it. And I went by a friend of mine's house, man. Somebody's supposed to be my own people, man. And I knocked on the door, man, and he said he didn't have nothing for me. So I went to another homeboy, a guy I knew that I used to buy drugs from, man. I knocked on his door, and I'm not going to promote any gang affiliations, but they called him and where he came from, it starts with a C. And man, big old black dude named Jermaine Barrow, man, call him Fat Crip. I love that dude, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Again, I'm not promoting any gang because I'm not gang affiliated. I did walk the walk, talk the talk, and I've been there in the penitentiary with a name that represents itself. And I'll tell you this much, man. I knocked on his door. The dude didn't try to sell me drugs. He didn't try to do this, but man, he opened up his door for me, put some clothes on my back, put some food on the table for me, and welcomed me in his home, man. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood where it's predominantly black people, man. And I ate breakfast every morning at their tables. I grew up and I spent time in a Hispanic neighborhood where I ate at their tables, man. I've ate at tables in the country club and I've ate at tables in the ghetto, man. I've been there, man. I've been around, bro. I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing or try to sell nothing to you, man. But where I've been, what I've done, man, I look back on all that because hindsight is 2020.
That's right.
And I can look back and see through all of that, man, that God guided me through all of that. The Lord Jesus Christ stood with me and walked with me through all of that. In times where I had nowhere to go, guess what, man? He opened up doors for me that were never expected to be opened up. He put me in places that most people would never walk, and I walked through safely. I lived safely, man. I was fed, clothed from all walks of life. Black, white, Hispanic, everybody, man. We all bleed red, man.
That's right. That's right, brother.
And we all have hearts, man. We all come from the same place, man.
That's
But we're
right.
all going to the same place if we make that right choice.
That's right. If we make that choice, back to choices. Everybody got choices. That's straight up. You're absolutely right, man. And again, man,
You know,
it's just so good to see you out here, man. Actually, still walking that walk and still talking that talk. I'm talking about because you know, contrary to what a lot of people may think about, you know, certain individuals, you know, that undone time and that talk like this, you actually have those that get out there and that's what it's about. They perpetuate number positivity now, you know, just as you are perpetuating positivity, man. You know what I mean? And you see that you keeping your eyes on him. That's why you ain't gonna sink. Because I know you got your eyes on him. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing, man. For real. And them words guarantee you touching somebody right now. Somebody listening to this and like, damn, I feel that. I feel that. I wish that some of them brothers
man,
in the penitentiary.
I've been fed under the roof. I've been fed under the roof of Crips, Bloods, Norteños from California, man. You know, everything from the trailer park, the Banditos, the Hells Angels, man. I've been around them all, brother. And I tell you what, man, out of every place and every type of person that I've come across, man, you know, it's amazing to see that God is at work in all of them places in all them hearts, man, in all them environments. And we go back to the penitentiary and where we were at. Man, I've sat in day rooms and I've been in moments where men just take Christmas, for instance, man. Everybody puts their meat in one bowl, man, and we all eat something, man. I've been through that. I mean, everybody eats, bro. Everybody eats, I've had celebrations. I've ate with men after they celebrated Ramadan and all kind of different stuff, man. And I've been there, bro. I've been there. And I've always been invited to the table, bro. And you know why I've been invited to the table, man?
Why that, bro?
Because of my heart, bro.
That's right.
Because of my heart, man. And because I was willing to let people see enough of my heart to know that I don't mean no harm, man. But I'm gonna get out there. You hear me?
Right.
I'm gonna get out there.
Right.
Man, I got scars all over my face, homeboy.
I already know it, man. I already know it, man. Brody, I ain't even lying, man. All BS to the side, man. It's good talking to you, bro. And you already know we locked in, man. We finna stay tapped in, like straight up, man. Like all bullshit.
Yeah, man.
You already know. You got my number. I got your number. I'm finna be hitting. We locked in. This some forever stuff, man. You my brother, man. My brother in Christ.
Man, I love you, bro.
Love you too,
I love you, homeboy.
No, we ain't just saying that. I ain't just saying that. I love you, bro. For real, for real. And I appreciate
you. Boy, man.
Everything that you did there, man. Everything that you done, everything you done said to me, all the inspirational words, everything, bro. I even appreciate you coming at 30TV. And I promise you, when you do when yours get up, promoting it to the top too. You finna do some big things.
Yeah.
Man. I know.
Hey, man, me and you talked about it. We talked about it in the joint.
That's right.
We talked about it in the joint about getting together and doing this, man. And
right. That's right.
Today we finally,
that's right. Absolutely
today we finally got a chance to talk. We talked for the first time today since we've both been out, and here we are putting this thing together, man. It's an honor, man. It's a real honor, bro. It's a real honor to be here on your show, man. It's a real honor to be a part of this. If anybody got offended, well, hey, man, you got offended. That's on you, bro. But if you didn't get offended, if you got offended, I might have said something you needed to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear.
Needed to hear.
That's absolutely right, man. That's right,
bro. For real. Nah, for real.
For real. Hey, bro. Look, man. Again, man, I appreciate you, Brody. We finna go ahead and sign out, man. I know it's getting dark out there and everything, man. But again, I love you, bro, and I appreciate
love you, bro.
Being on the show, man, like for real. And hopefully we can do it again. And then, but this time we promoting your show. You hear me? Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We gonna come together for real. Like straight up.
Yeah, man.
All grace to God, all grace and mercy, man. I'm talking about. Man, God done worked in both our lives, man. He gonna continue working our lives. We keep our eyes on him, man. And on that note, man, just like I say, man, I love you, bro. Stay safe out there, man. I'm with you. Anytime you need, I'm here. Whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, hey, brother, keep the faith. Bro.
All right.
Keep doing what you're doing, man, and just know that what you're doing, man, is gonna bring a lot of positivity to this world, man, that needs it. And man, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, man. You're doing that. And what you're doing right now, man, is you're blazing a trail for other men to be able to get up, stand up, and express who they are, show who they are, not to hide, man. Put their heart out there. Let other people see what they're about. Let other men be able to know that there's some hope out there, man. Because guess what, man? We walk out of the penitentiary. We walk out confused, not knowing what to expect, and broken, man. And I found since I've gotten out, man, I talk to more guys that I was locked up with than I do people that I knew before I ever got locked up, and we talk daily. And we care about each other. We care about the other one's well-being and where we're going from there. And with that, I'm out, bro.
Hey, man. Again, bro, I love you, bro. Stay safe, man. You
no doubt.
Know, man. God is good.
All the time.
All the time, God is good.
That's right.
Love y'all, man.
Love you, bro.